All right, guys, so this is quite a development with Twitter and Elon Musk. So Twitter is suing to force Elon Musk to buy the company for $44 billion. So Elon walked away, and Twitter's like, no, you can't walk away. We had a deal. So this is fascinating. Let me give you some more specifics here. The world's richest man was sued by a social networking platform on Tuesday. I didn't know Elon was still the richest. Anyway, I digress. To force him to follow through on his purchase of the company. Quote, Twitter sued Elon Musk on Tuesday to force the billionaire to complete his $44 billion acquisition of the company, setting the stage for a prolonged legal battle over the fate of the social media service. The New York Times reported Tuesday, Mr. Musk agreed in April to buy Twitter, but declared last week that he intended to walk away from the deal. To push Mr. Musk to abide by the acquisition agreement, Twitter sued him in Chancery Court in Delaware. The court will determine whether he remains on the hook for the purchase or whether Twitter violated its obligation to provide Mr. Musk with data he requested, entitling him to walk away. The contract Musk signed included a specific performance clause. The newspaper explained 3 potential outcomes. Still, Mr. Musk's threat of walking away could bring Twitter back to the negotiating table, allowing the billionaire to buy the company at a discount, the Times explained. Let me pause there for a second, because this is the theory that's now been floated by people who are more pro Elon Musk, like, oh, he's playing like 37-dimensional chess, and he's just trying to get them back to the table to now get a better deal and pay less, because he's amazingly brilliant. He's a genius. I really don't think that's what he's doing. I definitely do not think that's what he's doing. The two sides could also settle, or they could pay a $1 billion breakup fee and walk away, an option allowed only under certain circumstances, such as if Mr. Musk's financing fell through. Interesting. Twitter has motivation to fight to force the deal in court. Quote, if Mr. Musk successfully disentangles himself from Twitter, it could be disastrous for the company. Its stock has fallen more than 35% below his offer of $54.20 per share. Twitter's business has also deteriorated in recent months, the newspaper explained. In the past, Delaware's Chancery Court has prevented companies from trying to walk away from deals. Whoa. In 2001, for example, when Tyson Foods tried to back out of an acquisition of the meatpacker IBP, the court ruled that Tyson had to follow through with the agreement. In situations where the court has allowed buyers to exit, it has required them to pay damages. Wow. That's interesting. So he could either be looking at a fine, or he could be looking at being forced to buy the company. So either way, it looks like he's not going to get away scot-free no matter what. He'll either have to pay something and walk away, or just not be allowed to walk away. His claim is he demanded documents from Twitter that verify their bot number, and he says, I guess Twitter didn't provide it. Twitter says, oh, we did provide it. There's a disagreement over, Twitter says, I don't remember the exact number Twitter says. Put it in the comment section if you remember. 5% of their 7%, maybe 10% of the people, of the things on Twitter, accounts on Twitter are bots. And Elon's like, no, the number's much higher. It's like 15 or more. And so there was a disagreement over that. And Elon's now convinced the number's higher than what Twitter says. Look, honestly, I think all this is null and void. It's irrelevant, that part of it, because I think Elon was just looking for a way out, because after he made the deal, he's paying way too much for it. And Tesla took a gigantic hit. That stock plummeted too, when we got the news that he was buying Twitter. And the financing for him has been difficult to getting enough money together in order to do it. It's a huge risk. And so now I just think he's looking for a way out. And this is definitely a trend with Elon Musk. There's a pattern here of, make a huge promise or float this bold new idea and then just not follow through. That's happened a number of times with him previously. And so I don't know what's going to end up happening with this deal, but what I do know is if Elon Musk believes all the things that he originally said about Twitter, which is hey, this is the new public square, we're supposed to believe in free speech, and basically Elon Musk wanted to sweep in and save freedom of speech for the country. Well, if you believe that, then it shouldn't matter if there's even 30% of the accounts on Twitter are bots. That shouldn't matter to you. Because what about the 70% that are real people? Now freedom of speech isn't as important to those people, for those people, because there's slightly more bots than you thought. So it just shows that all the grandiose talk of, like, saving free speech and the benevolent billionaire who's going to secure freedom, obviously that's bullshit, because those things would still matter just as much no matter what the bot number is. But now all of a sudden he's like, oh, it doesn't matter. I swear, people are so silly because they start to piece together these absurd... It's what people used to do with Obama, by the way. Like, Democratic partisans used to say, no, Obama's like playing four-dimensional chess and you just don't understand it. And, lefties would be like, no, he's weak and he's not really a lefty and that's obvious. And people are like, no, you don't even understand. He's going to do all these jiu-jitsu moves and then get all these concessions from the Republicans because he's a genius. Now you have Elon stands doing the same thing with Elon Musk, where it's like, you don't even get it, bro. It's not that he wants to walk away because it's a bad deal and he's in over his head and he's backing out. No, it's because he, he's trying to expose Twitter in court so that the world knows the true bot number and they realize that, like, Twitter's like a fraud or something. What? And again, for all those people who said, oh, I care about free speech, do those things not matter if Twitter has a higher bot count? No, it would still matter just as much. So all that grandiose talk was nonsense. So anyway, very interested to see what happens with this. Fascinating that it ended up in court. And I think no matter what happens, it's going to be ugly, because just the fact that it's in court means it's ugly. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.